on this episode. You don't like how he chews his food? He's out. You don't like that he didn't open you the door? He's out. So you've been in one bad relationship, it sounds like, after another.
It's been failure after failure.
I'm gonna tell you something harsh, because I already care about you. I think you're abusive. I'm Ed Mylett. I'm an entrepreneur, best-selling author, and a life coach with one goal: to change people's lives. Wow. All right. Hey, good to see you guys. Awesome. All right, grab a seat. Thank you. Whoa, talk about great energy. Thank you all for being here today. Samantha is a 34-year-old elementary school teacher. She reached out saying that she's had trouble finding and keeping a good quality relationship. Let's watch her submission video.
My name is Samantha Peters. I am 34 years old and I live here in Connecticut. I would absolutely love Ed Mylett's help. He's been an inspiration to me and I have a very similar upbringing as him. I know his father was an alcoholic and mine is too, and I had a very toxic upbringing. He was very emotionally, physically, and mentally abusive, and I feel like because I don't have a good relationship with him, I have brought in so many toxic relationships into my life, and I am 34 years old and I still haven't fallen in love yet because I just have a lot of trauma from my childhood, and I would love Ed to be able to help me. So I would really appreciate if you can have him coach me and guide me. It would mean the world.
Thank you for being here, Samantha.
No problem.
Yeah, your video really made an impact on me.
Thank you.
So you've been in one bad relationship, it sounds like, after another. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I'm 34 and I would love nothing more to find a nurturing, loving man who sees my value and understands me, but it's been failure after failure. I've had men who've cheated on me, and I feel like most times I was just an object to them. I'll share this one story with you.
Yeah.
So one of my first relationships, it was about 2 years on and off, and I worked with him. And I was working, and this woman next to me, she was telling me how she just had hung out with him, telling me how she went on a date with him and things like that. And at that point, I was still, with him. And so I pulled her outside, and I'm like, so this is more than a friendship? And I feel like I just lost so much self-confidence, and because he was the first man that I truly, I wouldn't say fell in love with, but he meant so much to me. And for him to do that to me, it just was so hurtful. From there, I've had relationships with men too that just seem to fail one after the other. And I just kind of want your help to figure out, why that's happening.
Yeah. Well, let's do that.
Yes.
Let's do that. So actually, the first man that you fell in love with wasn't him. It's your daddy.
Supposed to be.
Right. The first man any little girl loves, if he's at all in her life, is her daddy. So tell me a little bit about your relationship with your dad and how that's gone most of your life.
I mean, it's never been a good relationship. It was always very toxic. Growing up, I honestly don't even remember a good memory that we've had together. It was just, screaming and yelling and arguing and fighting, and there's been some traumatic memories with him as well.
Can you give me maybe an example of one of them?
Yeah, so this was our last family vacation. I was about 16 years old, and I actually drove separately. We went to Wildwood, New Jersey. And at this point, he was on pain medication. He just had surgery. He was also drinking, so his state of mind was just very toxic. And I just remember one night sleeping and waking up at 4 in the morning and him rummaging through his suitcase, and I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? And he came over and he just hit me so hard. And it was not a good feeling. I'm like, why do I deserve this? I'm such a good person. I do so many things for my family, and I just felt like he never wanted me. He never wanted to even have children. So that's how I feel.
I'm sorry, by the way. I always want to say that when I hear pain like that, because no child should ever go through feeling like that. What about now? Has it gotten any better with your dad now?
I had him out of my life for 12 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
So coming out of college, just got my bachelor's degree. I lived at college on campus. I paid for everything.
Wow.
And so I went home for the summer, and I'll never forget this day. It like runs in my memory like it happened yesterday. I came downstairs, and at the kitchen table there were notice to quit orders. And I had no idea what that meant, but basically my father was like, I went to the police station and you have to be out of here in 30 days, if not, you're gonna be arrested. And it was just every day leading up to those 30 days, like, I can't wait to never see you again. And like, I just can't wait till you're out of the house. And it was just like, I felt so abandoned and not loved.
I imagine that's absolutely horrible. Have you had any good relationships? You said you've had one bad one after the other. There's been one that stood out. There was one magic one or anything like that?
So yeah, I've had a few men who were really great in my life, but I feel like because I felt abandoned by my father, I pushed them away. I was like, there's no way I deserve this, really? There's, like, this man is so incredible. He has an amazing job. His family is so awesome. And I'm like, he doesn't deserve me, you know?
Now that's really revealing right there. We're gonna get into that next. We'll continue with Samantha when we get back.
Do they like me? Do they think I'm good enough?
I'm gonna tell you something harsh, because I already care about you. I think you're abusive. Change. We're here talking with Samantha. I'm curious with these men, do you feel like that if they don't mistreat you a little bit, then you don't deserve them? In other words, they've got to be a little bit verbally abusive or take advantage of you. Like there's this unconscious thing playing that if he treats me great, I don't deserve it. But if he treats me bad, now that's kind of my jam right there because I'm used to that. You think you have some of that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Where do you meet them? How do you meet people?
You know, going out to restaurants and bars, you know, when I was in college, and now sometimes through the apps, which they're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the apps, meaning the online dating apps.
Yeah, online dating apps.
Yeah, one of the things with these apps, they really devalue humans. Because, you know, in the old school dating world, if you and I went on a date, when the date's over, I'm driving home thinking about what a great date it was and how lucky I was to have that date. In the new world, I get in the car and I've got 25 emails if I'm single from a whole bunch of other options. And so you're constantly being thrown all these other options, which devalues the human being in front of you. So it makes it really, really difficult to make a connection that way. Certainly it's possible because people do it all of the time, but it's the sheer volume of access to people that makes it very difficult. And maybe you can share this with me because I've been married for 126 years. So, but I also feel like sometimes there's maybe pressure because time frames are so condensed to speed up the physical part of a relationship, maybe even faster than someone might want to, just to keep somebody connected to you. Because if you don't, there's 25 people in the emails that will. Is there a little bit of that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, it was like that for a lot of the time. I felt like I just needed to, you know, become more physical in a relationship rather than taking a step back and really realizing their value. And if I even like them, because I was so fixated on, do they like me? Do they think I'm good enough? You know, all the time. And it was just these constant thoughts in my mind of all of that.
I checked out your social, and there's a lot on there that's really valuable stuff about helping women and empowering women, and I really admire that. There's also, though, some really attractive, sort of skimpy pictures of you on there, so to speak. Do you think that potentially what we put out there is what we magnetize? That's one of them right there, as a matter of fact. Well, it's a beautiful picture, by the way, of you. But if a dude sees that picture, right? Is he going, you know, I would really like to get to know what's going on in her brain right now? Is that the first thing that he's thinking about when he sees that, right?
Definitely not, no.
Yeah. So potentially maybe what we put out there to some extent in life, and by the way, That's not necessarily fair. You're allowed to look beautiful. You're allowed to express different parts of your personality. I want to be very, very clear about that.
Yeah.
That's not fair for a woman or a man. A guy posts a picture with his shirt off because he's really fit. That's completely appropriate if he wants to do that. And I actually think it's a great thing to be able to say, listen, I train hard, I'm fit, I'm physical. I work out on Instagram and I'll have a tank top on and I'm working out. At the same time, if I were dating and I continued to get a particular place where I'm feeling like I'm being sort of used, I might be a little bit more conscious of what I'm going to put out there that I'm going to attract as well. Does that make sense?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how it works for you in terms of your emotions. Like, there's still this part of you that really doesn't believe you deserve to have a great relationship in your life. We actually teach people how to treat us. And we move towards what we're really familiar with in life. So if our primary male figure is someone who we just feel didn't value us or maybe even harmed us, we have this part of our RAS in our brain that, you know, that we find that. We find the man who's going to mistreat us. We find the man who's not going to take us seriously. We see them, and we're oblivious to all of the ones around us who could treat us well because we're going to move towards what we're most familiar with. Does that make sense?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. First off, I don't think you need a relationship. So I think when we think we need something, I want you to stay with me on this. I think when we think we need something, we can come across as desperate, even if we're not. I'm looking for a man, I'm looking for a relationship. I have found that the best relationships typically show up when you're not looking.
And you attract them.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think when we're really seeking something aggressively, there's a desperation of energy, or at least we feel that way. And in your case, I sense that to some extent. How do you feel about people who abuse other people, like what you had, that are unkind to people, that tell them negative things about themselves, that, you know, verbally or physically harm somebody? How do you feel about abusive people?
I feel like they haven't worked through trauma themselves and they're still hurting so much inside. And so they have to project, you know, how they were treated on other people.
What if they are their own abuser? Let me tell you what I mean by that. I'm going to tell you something harsh because I already care about you. I think you're abusive. To you.
Self-sabotage.
I think you beat yourself up. I think in life there's this story we tell ourselves, right? And there's this amazing story about you that's not being told. There's this teacher. There's this woman who's overcome all these things. There's this woman who's growing and healing and contributing and obviously takes care of herself and eats the right foods and cares about people. But that's not the story you tell yourself about you. And so many people do this. You've got this weapon you're using against yourself, which is this story in your life. You're not feeling these things any longer because of your dad. You're feeling these things now because of you. And the story you keep telling yourself about your dad, about what took place there. You're a grown woman now. And so you've got to begin to feed yourself this love, okay? And I think I can help you do that with some tools. I think that you are so close to changing your life.
Yes.
Like really close.
I can feel it.
You are. Good. I'm glad you feel it. I feel it for you. We'll be back with Samantha in just a minute. I think that in a matter of a few minutes, we can make some dramatic change for you because you've done so much work on yourself. You do so much good. See, if someone tells us something about ourselves that we just know isn't true, no, I'm really not a kind person.
Yeah.
I'm really not a generous person. I'm really not beautiful. I'm really not vibrant. Then we kind of reject it. But when someone points out something about us that we go, you know, that is true. I am kind. Are you kind?
I am kind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you generous with people?
Oh, yeah.
You are. You love people, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. I want you to be kind and generous and love you. That's all I want for you. This whole relationship thing, what you think it's going to give you, what this guy's going to give you, he's going to make me feel loved. He's going to accept me. He's going to make me the best version of myself. He ain't giving you all of that. You can give you all of that. And you can have that in any moment if we change the story. The story is you've overcome this stuff from your dad. You have. What's ironic about you is you've actually overcome it. You
Yeah.
actually got out of the house. You actually graduated. You actually teach school. You actually have a following online. So that's the story. It actually happens to be a true story, by the way. There's no BS in it.
Yeah, that's
There's a bunch of dudes watching this right now going, she's a school teacher too? I can promise you. You should check your DMs after this thing airs. I promise you. There's gonna be, heck, some of these guys in here have already DM'd you as far as I can tell, right? So I can promise you that's there, but we wanna meet that person not needing them.
Exactly.
Because if we need them, it's the same thing in sales, right?
Yeah.
And here's one thing I've learned about, our lives and seeming needy. When I'm like selling or even talking with you right now, I don't spend any of my time trying to get you to believe what I'm saying. Stay with me on this. I'm not trying to get you to believe what I'm saying. There's a subtle difference. It's really subtle. I'm trying to get you to believe I believe what I'm saying. That's influence. Always trying to get someone to believe something about us comes across as desperate.
Of course.
Almost like I'm underneath you. Please believe this about me. I'm amazing. I'll treat you great. You'll be so happy with me. That's the same in sales. Buy my product. It's amazing. It's going to change your life. Believe me. Subtle difference.
Yeah.
I don't care if you believe me. I want you to believe I believe me. And that's the same thing in our lives too. I don't care if you believe I'm valuable. I don't care if you believe I'm beautiful. I don't care if you believe I'm smart. I care you believe I believe it. And that's a different energy. Do you see that?
Self-confidence from within.
It's a little subtle difference, isn't it? It's like, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I don't need anything from you. I want you to believe I believe I'm beautiful. I want you to believe I believe I'm strong. I want you to believe I believe I'm worthy, right? The rest of that stuff will take care of itself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You want a couple
amazing.
tools to make some changes? You want
Yes.
a few? Let's get to that after the break. If I treat you this way, you'll love me. If I show up looking like this, you'll love me.
It's conditional.
It's conditional. Real love comes without conditions. You don't like how he chews his food? He's out. You don't like that he didn't open you the door? He's out.
You are the five. Get off my stage.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Number one, I want you to describe this guy not in what he would do for you, but what the emotions are that you want to feel on a daily basis. So what are those emotions?
Safe, secure,
Wow.
comforted, loved, valued.
Stop there. Are any of those emotions that if you wanted to at any moment you couldn't access and actually give yourself?
I could do that.
You could. In any moment, you can feel safe and you can feel protected and you can feel loved. Here's a biggie for you. I have this, and I just realized it a few years ago about me. I've confused two emotions in my life, significance and love. Because when I was a little boy, for me to get love from my dad, I'd have to do something significant. I got an A, Dad. I hit a home run, Dad. That's when I'd get affection. So I was constantly fighting to get attention from my dad. And I thought attention or significance was love. I think you have a little of that.
Yes.
I also thought I had to earn love. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
I had
so
to earn
familiar.
it. Yeah, I had to earn it. Well, if I do this for you, you'll love me. If I treat you this way, you'll love me. If I show up looking like this, you'll love me.
It's conditional.
It's conditional. And real love comes without conditions. Real love is not earned. Real love is just experienced.
Yeah.
And when we're trying to earn it all the time, we end up drawing that person back into our life. So actually what I want you to do, and I know you've done work on this, is I want you to have great goals and ambitions about wanting to find the love of your life, wanting to find an amazing relationship. But simultaneously, I want you to be giving yourself the gift of these emotions. Because when people see a woman who loves herself, who values herself, who's safe herself, who comforts herself, they want to move towards her if they're type of person who wants to give that.
Yeah.
If they see a woman who doesn't value herself, doesn't believe in herself, doesn't love herself, doesn't feel safe with herself, you're going to find people who want to make you feel unsafe,
Yes.
who want to make you feel unloved. In life, the law of attraction is not that we think about, it's a lie. You get what you think about. You get in life who you believe you are.
I agree.
Who you believe you are, you
So
get in your
powerful.
life, right? And I want you to begin to, by the way, not fake it. I mean, really take an inventory. I am independent. I take care of my own bills. I have a following. I am a teacher. I do help people. I am a nurturer. I am beautiful. I mean, I want you to actually drop this story about your dad. Like, I would prefer that you not use that story anymore.
Okay.
And I want you to begin to create this story of who you are today. I want you to separate from outcome, ironically. So just stay with me on this last point. It's great to have a big goal of wanting an unbelievable relationship. But in order to be in a state of energy, of receiving it, we have to come away from the outcome. Like with an athlete.
Yeah.
When they say, I want a home run to win the game. That's great. Let's prepare. Let's have a home run. Let's have that mentality. But when you get into the batter's box, you have to separate from the outcome and just be in the moment and execute. Does that make sense? In other words, the obsession with the outcome causes us not to show up with the right energy and presence in the moment. So when you get that next date with somebody, you separate from the outcome and you just be present in the moment. And you be this beautiful, powerful, sexy, authentic, smart, brilliant version of you and separate from the outcome about what it means.
I love that.
Does that make sense?
I love that.
And I think between the combination of getting clear on what you want, teaching people how to treat you the right way.
That's a huge one, and setting boundaries.
Yes, set them for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't ask me to treat you better when the minute you drive away, you're treating yourself terribly. I shouldn't have said that. I messed that up. I don't deserve him anyway. How are you going to get me to treat you great when you're not treating yourself great?
Yes.
I promise you something. You have everything to be powerful and happy right now just with you. And just let it be. Just be this powerful version of you. And I promise you, things are going to change in your life. And never, ever, ever again in your life let any man, the story about your dad, or any man you see in any way treat you less than you're worthy of. I mean, literally, the minute he's disrespectful, the minute he doesn't act in a way that's worthy of you. That's it, because there's about 300 billion more guys out there. The minute. I tell my daughter this all the time. You don't like how he chooses food? He's out. You don't like that he didn't open you the door? He's out. Listen to me. He's out. Right? You don't like you're sitting at that table with your man and another woman walks in right here and he gives her one of these just for a second. You don't like how that feels? He's out. He's out. You teach him how to treat you. And by the way, vice versa for you men out there, the same exact thing. There's something floating around in his DMs that aren't the right things and you find out about it, he's out. It's non-negotiable because you know your worth. And I'm telling you, sitting right in front of you, these men would be very, very lucky to have a chance to be with you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. I'm really glad you were here today. Thank you so much. You're awesome. I'm so impressed with you.
Thank you.
I think you're great.
Thank you.
I love taking questions from the audience, and this is a great one. So, what is the most important part of the body to work out? That's easy. It's not the chest, it's not the arms, it's not the legs, it's the mind. Because the mind can actually change our hearts can change our minds. And so it's really what I mean by that is changing the way we think. But what is thinking? If I'm going to change the way I think, how do I change my mindset? How do I change the way I think? What is the process of thinking? Thinking is actually the process of asking and answering questions to yourself. That's what a thought is. You ask a question, you get an answer. So how do we change the way we think? We change the questions that we ask ourselves. You show me the quality of somebody's life, and I will show you the quality of the questions they ask themselves. When they walk in a room is, how do I own this place? How do I dominate? How do I win here? Or do they walk in a room and say, what's everybody thinking about me? When a situation happens, how can I solve this problem? How can I move forward? How can I grow? Or do they ask themselves, why is this happening to me? And so the quality of our life is the quality of our questions. By far, the most important body part for you to work out is your mind, which will deliver to your heart, and your heart will deliver to your mind. No question about it. Change the quality of your thoughts by changing the quality of the questions you ask yourself, and ultimately you can change your entire life.